Breaking news today. To launch a counterattack or to test the defenses. Fighting is raging in several sections of the front line, suggesting the long-anticipated campaign may be beginning, despite Kyiv's silence on the matter. Over the weekend, Ukraine released a video showing its armed forces raising a finger to their lips in protest. The absence of noise is music to the ears of planners. Followed by the words, "There will be no start" announcement, warplanes take to the skies. Moscow says it stopped Ukrainian forces from breaking through its defenses, but pro-Kremlin military bloggers paint a different picture, saying that Ukrainian forces made rapid gains. Russia has been trying to expand its gains outside of the eastern city of Bakhmut, which it reclaimed last month in the longest and bloodiest battle of the war, but Ukraine has been successfully pushing back against its advances in recent weeks. Alongside the Ukrainian military, pro-Kyiv paramilitary groups from Russia crossed into Russian territory and attacked the Belgorod region. Russian hawks have criticized the Kremlin for failing to strike back resolutely after Ukrainian shelling and cross-border incursions devastated several border towns and villages, forcing the evacuation of thousands of residents. On May 30, a rare drone attack on Moscow occurred, resulting in minimal damage but highlighting serious holes in the city's air defenses. The attacks are part of a series of maneuvers known as shaping operations, which military experts say are designed to test Russian defenses, force Moscow to disperse its forces, and divert attention away from potential targets in Ukraine's counteroffensive. The Russian military has responded by increasing the frequency and intensity of its attacks deep within Ukraine, using drones and missiles to target strategic targets almost daily. Russia claimed victory after attacking air bases and weapons stockpiles across Ukraine and destroying US-made Patriot missile defense systems in Kyiv. They also successfully attacked the military intelligence headquarters in the Ukrainian capital. It was not possible to confirm these statements without bias. Ukrainian authorities have confirmed some bombings but offered no details on the damage. They were reportedly part of Moscow's plan to thwart the counteroffensive by weakening Ukraine's air defenses and destroying Western weapons and ammunition destined for the campaign, as described by Russian military bloggers. While discussing sensitive matters in Washington, a U.S. official said, "We have no reason to believe any Russian action has had any spoiling effect on pending or ongoing Ukraine operations. Through propaganda and disinformation, both sides have attempted to undermine and mislead the other." On Sunday, the Ukrainian military released a threatening statement about the counteroffensive via hacked TV broadcasts in Crimea. On Monday, broadcasts in several regions of Russia were hacked to air a fake address by President Vladimir Putin in which a voice similar to Putin's declared martial law, a nationwide mobilization, and a massive evacuation of 3 border regions, all in an effort to demoralize the population. Instead, Ukraine has accused Russia of hybrid warfare. In it, they claimed that Russian claims of a major Ukrainian attempt to pierce Russian defenses were part of information and psychological operations, designed to demoralize Ukrainians and mislead the community. When asked about Russia's claims, Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak dismissed them as virtual reality, saying sarcastically, "Moscow is already actively involved in repelling a global offensive that does not yet exist." According to military experts, Ukraine has been trying to throw Russia off its scent by attacking from multiple fronts in an effort to dilute the Russian military's focus on a single target. The attacks in the Zaporizhia and the Donetsk regions, the developments in Russia's Belgorod region, and the increasingly frequent strikes on Russian military depots in the rear are all part of preparations to the Ukrainian counteroffensive, said Ukrainian military analyst Roman Svitin. To spread the front as wide as possible, Kyiv is looking for Russia's weak spots. After Moscow captured the strategic port of Mariupol in May 2022, many military experts believe Ukraine will try to ram through Russian defenses toward the Sea of Azov coast in an attempt to break the land corridor to Crimea. Military bloggers and Russian officials have speculated that the attacks that began on Sunday in the southern part of the Donetsk region and the neighboring Zaporizhzhia region mark the beginning of that major push. The Russian Defense Ministry reported on Sunday that Ukraine had dispatched multiple battalions in an attempt to break through Russian defensive positions, but had been repulsed with heavy casualties. Ukrainian troops made gains on Sunday, according to some Russian military bloggers, and they are putting in more resources to capitalize on those gains today. Apparently this is the first time a sizable number of Leopard tanks, which were manufactured in Germany, have been spotted in the region. Obstacles and objectives. Many observers have cautioned against expecting a quick breakthrough that could end the war quickly, regardless of whether the latest fighting marks the start of Ukraine's counteroffensive or not. We need to understand that what we are calling the Ukraine counteroffensive is not like a football match, said General Sir Richard Barrons, a former commander of the United Kingdom's Joint Forces Command. You can't expect it to wrap up by half-time on a specific day in 90 minutes. In terms of gathering weapons and ammunition from NATO, the preparation has taken at least 9 months. I don't think we've done enough so far. Russia has increased its forces, restocked some of its ammunition stockpiles, and constructed complex defensive lines, as noted by Barrons, co-chair of the consulting group Universal Defense and Security Solutions. With 3 lines of trenches and held-down positions, he said, Russia has had time to lay out a textbook fixed defense, allowing tanks to come forward and fire at the attackers. They will have practiced rapid counterattacks, which are essential when attempting to restore an attacked line, and they will have practiced the artillery fire plan in support of defending those lines, as Barrons pointed out. Ukraine, he said, will try to concentrate its 9 newly formed brigades armed with Western weapons on ramming through Russian defenses in just 1, 2, or 3 places, in order to smash their way through and then exploit and hold on to the ground that they've taken. The offensive is going to be, in a land sense, quite a narrow frontage, he explained. I'd be surprised if it's more than 20 miles, to be honest, Barrons said. To secure additional strategic backing, battlefield victory must be sufficient to show hope and prospect. It may be more difficult for Ukraine to drive the Russians out this time around, he said, because the Russian army has learned from its mistakes from last fall, when it withdrew from large areas in the Kharkiv and Kherson regions in the face of a Ukrainian counteroffensive. Unless the Russians decide to give up and go, Barrons argues that the thing that is most important about this offensive is whenever it comes, however successful it is simply not possible to throw every Russian out of Ukraine. As a corollary, and they are not going to do that. He argued that if Ukraine is to prevail, the West's military-industrial complex must be mobilized to provide greater support. European spending over the next 3 years is estimated to be around €100 billion, $107 billion, according to Barrons. The key to this counteroffensive is to show enough battlefield success to show the West that the right and reasonable thing to do is to get on with industrial mobilization, Barrons said. Tara Kopp in Washington, D.C., Uras Karmanow in Tallinn, Estonia, and Danica Kirka in London all wrote for the Associated Press.